Hey YouTube, bad news today. Wilko Johnson died. Really just wanted to say, damn. If I'm playing a telly, it's like I really know him from when I say know him, I didn't know personally, obviously. Really, it was on the old grey whistle test. It used to be, I think it was called the Sounds in the 70s. I remember watching when I first got a video recorder when I was like 14 or something. I recorded something that was on during the day, like on a timer. I managed to use that, and on that was Deep Purple, Black Knight, Focus Hocus Pocus, no, Focus Sylvia, Doctor Feelgood, Roxanne, and other things. Quite meant quite a lot to me. I'm not going to say that I listened to a lot of Doctor Feelgood albums, but that definitely had an influence on me. Telecaster, he'd kind of walk backwards and forwards, boom, 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 like that. I've got a guitar on. It's not. I can't really play it. And he kind of used to put this mad stare on where he kind of looked like he was possessed or something. And it's influenced. I was thinking about it I've been thinking about it this morning. A few things influenced me. Well, one, the red curly lead. That was why I stole this lead. It's up here. It's a Wilko Johnson lead. And also the walking back and forward bit a little bit. Even thinking about that gig I just did on Saturday there. Like the way there was a smoke machine and there was lights above us, so I couldn't really see anything. So I was kind of trying to do the sort of looking mad, staring into the 100-yard stare thing during the sort of quiet, during the bits where there was no singing or I wasn't really doing any headbanging. Again, Wilko Johnson. So he was, by all accounts, a fantastic guy. I have met him. First time I went to see him, he was doing a tour with Status Quo, the original Status Quo. So it was like the Fantastic Four or something, whatever, the original lineup with Lancaster and Coughlin in it, and then Parfitt and Rossi, in the Academy in Glasgow. And he'd been given a terminal cancer thing, he'd a tumour, and he was playing his guitar, his Telecaster, kind of like more horizontal than I play it, and it was kind of sticking out like this. He had a big lump, it was massive in his side, and basically he'd been given a terminal thing, so he was like, he's going to do one more tour, and it was inoperable. And during that tour, some crazy doctor somewhere said, I think I can fix that. So basically, I don't know if it was the night after the tour got cut short, he just left the tour because he was going to go and get this life-saving operation. That must have been 7 or 8 years ago, something like that. So he basically cut the tour short, like the gig after, or the after the gig I saw, or the gig after the gig I saw, and they managed to sort it, get rid of his tumour. So he was like, I remember I've seen documentaries on it. He was doing quite a lot of TV work at the time, and he was like, he'd set himself out to going to die in 6 months. So he kind of told he was going to die in 6 months, and then it was like a year later that I saw him on tour, and he was still going, and it was like, he kind of settled everything and get ready to do it, and then he gets sorted, and it was quite difficult for him after that, because suddenly he was like, oh, I've got more life, and like he'd settled down to accept that a little bit, and he did an album. I think it might have even got to #1 with Roger Daltrey. Like I don't think it was. I think it was partly covers, like a sort of blues album. My pal G had it. Listened to it. It was great. And then I saw him on tour again. I don't think he was supporting it. I think it was a full on tour. Playing the ABC in Glasgow, my favourite venue, which isn't there anymore. And I took in my Claymore sword with me because he was actually in Game of Thrones season 1, like a pure shocker. He had the High Executioner from Cersei the Queen, and he was obviously hired because he's got this stare. It was a non-speaking part because in the story his tongue had been cut out, but so he just had this stare thing, which I can't do. No, I don't know how to do the Wilko Johnson stare, and so I took that guitar in, the one that's shaped like a sword, and the guys at the BBC were really helpful. I was like, yeah, can I put this in the cloakroom? Is that a guitar? I was like, yeah, it's like, blah blah. I told them about Wilko Johnson. He's like, well, no, you can't put it in the cloakroom, but give me it here, right? And at the end, say, tell Andy that it's behind that door after the gig. So after the gig, I was like, hi Andy, and the guy's like that. So up here, yeah, the guy earlier on, I've got my guitars here, he's put it behind that door. So I got it and I hung it outside, played, had a wee battery amp with it, played it, and then when he came out, he was very nice, and he was like, oh, Game of Thrones. So that's where the profile picture comes from, of him cutting my head off with a sword. Or that was the plan. And he's like, unfortunately, he didn't do his 1,000-yard stare thing. He kind of made a sort of silly face, which was fine. And it was quite funny because I was told he'd cut my head off with a sword, and after it's up here, it's a guitar. It actually works. It's up here. Wow, it's not really good. And then, so it's a shame he's gone. He did get, I suppose, on the bright side, he did think he was going to die, like, I don't know however many years it was, like 7 or something like that. And then he got an extra 5 as a sort of bonus. Done quite a lot of work though. I mean, he's done a good few tours, at least another album or two. There's a documentary about, is it Canvey Island, where he's from, which is a sort of Blade Runner-esque looking hellhole. It's like, I think it's in the middle of a sort of like an estuary or a swamp sort of thing, where it's just like black, it's like a grey sand and fog with a sort of this town on stilts sort of thing. It looks totally like something out of Star Wars. That was the Canvey Island sound. I think it was actually like a summer Victorian resort thing. Anyway, so I've already talked too much. Just it's shit. He's gone. One of the good ones. I know my pal Blacktooth Fox worked with him for a while. Said he was lovely as well, and it's kind of like you kind of tell that when you talk to him. He was. So it's a shame. It's a shame. So yeah, so later on tonight, I think that'll be 3 videos I'm putting out today. I'll put this one out just now, and then I've got one where I made a total mess of a video, which I'm going to put out anyway. Then I did another video, which is kind of, I made a mess of the first half of it, but hopefully you can get something out of it. So, peace, Wilko. You were awesome. Glad I got to see you twice. Brilliant both times, but even not knowing the songs. He didn't sign my rock jacket. I didn't want to impose on him. He was looking awfully tired when I saw him, but he was putting the extra effort in. I did get it signed by Norman Watt-Roy, who was his bass player on the tour. Who was a funny wee guy, but a fantastic bass player. They were amazing. It was amazing the way they played, and it was kind of. It wasn't winged, obviously, but it was kind of winged. So there were bits. I think it was at the first gig, his curly lead broke, and he was kind of trying to get all these other leads, and the band just kept going because they were that good. They just had this blues vibe thing going. So listen to a bit of Dr. Feelgood, and thanks, Wilko.